Hi guys, it's Shimmy. So welcome to DIY palettes. I'm going to show you things that you can use around your house to make palettes, to put your paints and mediums on and glues in some cases and that kind of thing. And you probably have things that you can use already around your house. And I'm also going to show you an easy DIY version that I like to use a lot too, that's super simple. So first, I want to show you that I always save all my packaging. I put it in a big old Ziploc bag that I got from the dollar store, and I do tend to save all my packaging because packaging makes really good palettes. Okay, so I will just show you, especially like plastic and that kind of thing. So let me show you first. So this is just from a notebook clipboard with a pen, and it's like acetate, so I could definitely use this as a palette. Actually, I could use it as a reusable palette. Okay, and you just kind of cut one of the top edges off is what I would do. Or probably I wouldn't even do that. I'd probably just turn it over and put it on my desk. But a palette is used to put down your paints. So I would have this, and then I would take some paint. Maybe I won't use my white. I'll use this white. And you just squirt it right down. And then you can add a bunch of different colors, and you can use it when you're stenciling, because if you use a makeup sponge or even a brush, you need to kind of spread out the paint and take some of it off of your sponge. So that's why paint palettes are very important when you're using different medias. I also like to scoop out my gesso if I'm doing blending, and I'll use my fingers. But you know, you want a paint palette or some type of palette to do that on, to kind of protect your surface a little bit, and it's just really convenient for color mixing. So just a piece of acetate would work great. Okay, and you can let it dry, which is fine, or you could just take a piece of paper towel or a baby wipe and you can wipe off your paint, and then you can use it again for another use. So that's fun. Just acetate. I'm sure that you have acetate all around your house that you don't even know that you have. So that's also a wonderful palette that I like to use. I always save acetate. And I just put it in a Ziploc bag so that way it's not messy and I don't have to, you know, worry about it. And I don't save like huge amounts of it, but just enough. Yeah. And another thing that you can use too is plastic bags. So maybe you get paintbrushes, or I think this was from stickers. You can just use the plastic. You do have to watch out though, because some pieces of plastic have holes in them. So I've like squirted out paint and it's in the hole, and I pull it up and it's a big mess. So just kind of be aware of that. But seriously, you can squirt paint right on here and just throw it away afterwards. I would definitely throw this away. I would use it one time. You could probably open it up, or just use your scissors maybe. Sorry, I ripped it up, but you could cut off the edges and then you would have two pieces. But just a DIY paint palette that you can use for all your art. Another thing that I love to use, that's like my new favorite thing to use, is these page protectors or dividers that you can get at the dollar store. This one I don't think I got from the dollar store. My mom bought it from her office because they were giving them away. So it comes with multiple different, you know, sizes. But all I do is just basically rip them apart. You could use scissors, but for some reason I like to rip things. Okay, and you just kind of, you can cut this off a little bit. And I would use this right on the side of my painting. Just stick it underneath, and then I would have my palette here. These smaller ones, what I like to do is open those up, and then I just cut it down, because sometimes you're working on an ATC or something small and you don't need a big amount. And I got this idea from my friend Diana. She told me, hey, do you use this type of plastic or dividers for a paint palette? And I never thought of it, but it's such a wonderful way. You could also use sheet protectors to use paint palettes. So you can squirt out your paints and your mediums. You can do color mixing. And these you can actually wash off. I wash them off a lot. I mean, they're wonderful. I have this one, which needs to be washed off, but yeah, you can just run them underwater and the paint comes up so easily. I mean, if you let it dry, really most of the time you can peel the paint right off, because it's kind of a non-stick surface. So I use it all the time. I love this. Okay, so that's a really fun, very cheap, very easy one that you can use. And you know, if your husband works or if you work, I'm sure you have some sheet protectors at your office that maybe no one's using, that you can use for your paint palette to put your paints and mediums. And I have to show you, like, I put gesso down and lots of paints, and I just add them and I can mix them up and have fun. When I use like bottle caps and like toilet paper rolls, I'll smooth out the paint on here first, and then I can use it to stamp things. I also had some washi tape that I did not want to use from some Happy Meal, so I stuck it on here too. So there's just lots of uses that you can use for plastic. Okay, and another thing that you can use are these fabulous cooking mats. This one I got off eBay. I got it in red. I haven't even used it before, just because I like the convenience of that kind of stuff. But it's really good too for non-stick. Like, you can use it as a non-stick mat too. I don't really, how can I say this? I don't mind working on underpaper. And normally, to be honest, if I'm working on my underpaper, I will just squirt paper down here. I'll just squirt my paint down here. And if I'm working on a canvas or something, I can just use my paper, my underpaper. So I really don't use a non-stick mat or a craft mat, just because I'm used to kind of using my underpaper. And this is just a paper bag that I got from, where's it from? Sprouts, as you can see, from Sprouts. And I just opened it up, and I just add layers and layers of paint, extra paint that I have left over from my palette. Sometimes I just squirt the paint just directly on this piece of paper, and I add it to my canvas. I do stenciling, stamping, that kind of thing. So I always work with underpaper, and then I love it because I can use it for other projects. So that's my favorite. But you could absolutely get a non-stick cooking mat, which is so much cheaper than a craft mat, from Amazon, from eBay, and I will link a couple of these below if you want to get one. And you can, you know, it's wonderful, but sometimes what I'll see is that if I'm gluing stuff, like let's say I'm making a small little ATC or something, it is great to have these because you can use them as a non-stick mat too. So if I'm working on small pieces, sometimes I'll work on something like this, or I'll have it close, and then I can let my item dry on here, and I won't have to worry about it sticking or tearing, because if you're working on paper, you can get sticking and tearing, which is not fun. So yeah, so this kind of doubles as a palette, and you can use it as a non-stick mat, as you can use a baking sheet for a non-stick craft mat too. And it's a lot cheaper. I mean, this was like $2 and I got free shipping. I think it might have even been $1.50. It was super cheap. And it was so much cheaper. I think eBay you can get them for, I mean Amazon you can get them for $3 or $4, and then if you have Prime they ship it to you for free. So it's a totally better deal than paying $10, $12, $20 for a big craft mat. You know, we're kind of budget friendly on this channel. And I'd like to spend my money on, you know, paints or mediums or stamps or something else that I can keep using over and over again, which I guess you can use your craft mat over and over again. Okay, so now we're going to make a DIY, because I want to show you one more kind of palette that you can make, and I really love this idea. So what I have here is a mini clipboard. I got this from Walmart. It was $1.27, okay? And it just has a little clip here, and you can decorate it if you want. And then I got some parchment paper from the dollar store, non-stick. You could also use wax paper or even deli paper, okay? And what you're going to do is you'll just get out your parchment paper. And I'm just going to kind of measure the width of my paper. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this down. Okay. Because I think that this is long enough. And you could have done it this way, but I know that I'm going to get more bang for my buck if I cut it this way. Okay, and I'm just going to take it, and don't worry, you don't have to make these perfect, but normally this is just the perfect amount that you can use to squirt out paints in your mediums, and you just stick it in here like this, just like that. Now, I would tape this with masking tape too. You can tape them down. And I'm just estimating here. No, it's not. guesstimate. It's okay if they're not even. It doesn't have to be perfect, right? And you can just make a whole, just prep a whole stack of these, okay? And then you kind of manipulate it a little bit, and it stays flat. Okay, and if you wanted to, you could put a piece of tape. And then I can squirt down my paint and stuff on here. Just keep in mind that your clipboard will get a little beat up with dried paint, but it's $1.27. It's not that big of a deal, right? And you could even use a full-size clipboard too. But I just wanted to show you just how fun and convenient these little clipboards are. And you have a nice DIY palette. Okay, so it's so fun. Hopefully I gave you some ideas of fun things that you have around your house, packaging that you can use for palettes, and also a little fun DIY that you can make to make your own little palette that you can use over and over again. Then you can just take the sheets off and throw them away, or you can incorporate them into your art. Now, another thing that you can use for a palette too is paper. You could just use white copy paper, but as I said, I tend to use plastic or something like that when I'm doing like small works or something like that, or when I really want to mix my paints together. The paper can soak up your paints and that kind of thing. So if you're doing mixing or you're stenciling, I do tend to work on my sheet protector or wax paper or something, because this doesn't soak up the paint. The parchment paper, the wax paper doesn't soak up the paint. You could even use freezer paper too. Doesn't soak up the paint as much as regular white paper does. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay? So hopefully I answered your questions. Will you guys tell me what your DIY palettes are? What do you use in your studios? Do you have any more ideas? Because maybe I'll make a video including your ideas for DIY kind of palettes. I do have a video where I made just a piece. I just took a piece of box or cardboard and I covered it with freezer paper, and that worked for a little while, and then you can just wipe it off. So there's lots of things that you can use to make DIY palettes. So hopefully I gave you guys some ideas, and I will see you guys later. And I'm going to start doing more videos like this because it's just fun to know what other people use, and to have ideas and on how you can save a couple bucks with fun stuff like that. If you want the baking sheet, I will link that to my Amazon store, and you can check that out. You can click the link and go see if you want to buy like a craft mat cooking sheet is what I would say. And these are great, like I said, because they're non-stick, so nothing's going to stick to them, no glue or medium or anything like that. And yeah, they're heat resistant too, so you can blow dry them and you don't have to worry about things melting with your heat gun and that kind of thing. So yeah, kind of cool. So they are cool to have. I have one. Hopefully I'll start using it more. Okay guys, so that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and let me know what your favorite DIY palette is. And I will see you guys next time. Bye bye.